My last one actually started on social media with a Facebook message. It was like this: mojitos or margaritas?
Dating world, the dating scene changes and evolves probably every couple of years, about 5 to 7.
How could I refuse?
And we both have this interest in the arts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Creativity.
But I just wonder, would avocados or almonds have worked the same way? I don't know, maybe you can try that one out. Let me know how that goes.
Singing, dancing.
And we've all been there. We've all had this person in mind, this certain someone in our heads going, that person ain't right for you.
It seems that we got to learn a lot about each other in a short amount of time.
But our heart and our emotions are saying the complete opposite thing, and we really like this person.
I find a lot of guys these days go a bit too full on. They go from 0 to 100 in like a matter of the first and second date.
Finding more about yourself, learning about your identity, how identity is created, is how we can avoid those situations so you can attract the right sort of people into your life.
You're not doing a very good job.
I'm failing miserably.
You are failing. You're very funny.
Like men have to definitely step up the game. They need to know how to be assertive on the date. Think of it like you're driving a manual car.
And you know, I'd love to share my life with someone, and you know, it has to be the right person.
You get the revs up, and you don't exactly need to hit the rev limiter, but you get the revs up, but then you've got to take your foot off the pedal, shift gears, let the revs go down a little bit, and then build the revs up back again.
You could do the walk to man.
That would be so
Because it's a long walk, and
Yeah.
it's also in nature. If you get sun.
And it's kind of like, you know, take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
I've lived in Sydney for about 5 years, but I've always wanted to do that walk, and always wanted to do it with someone special.
Well.
Yes. I don't ever knock anyone for having fetishes and wanting threesomes, wanting to experiment.
How I see myself is not really how I am.
Someone who loved to exercise naked.
In codependent relationship, but the only thing in their life is the relationship.
Unfortunately, he was very tight with money, and he wouldn't pay to have the heater on.
And so it's put too much pressure on each other, and then
So I had a lot of trouble meeting that challenge.
brunches are pretty good.
You know, apart from the frustration of not meeting someone I was really attracted to.
Like this is people and women I met in the Tantra world, conscious communities, drumming, ecstatic dance.
But I never lost faith that one day I might meet someone who actually really liked me.
I dabbled in dating apps a long time ago, but it kind of didn't work for me. I'm part of the statistic that most Asian men don't do well on apps. I'm part of that data point.
Connected with so many people that were going through incredibly difficult experience.
Preferring like Caucasian women, other guys it's a colonial being colonized.
Every dating site, every platform offers you an opportunity to find whatever you want.
It's also to me people who speak more than one language kind of sexy.
And if they can't meet me halfway and say, look, yes, I genuinely want to get to know you, I say next. Bye.
Do you believe in love in first sight, or maybe I should just walk past again?
Seeing life as a matrix.
Laughter is always the good medicine for a good first date.
You're very funny. I even saw a kangaroo laugh back there. I was quite entertained.
Kangaroo!
Yeah.
We are at episode 2 of Play. I heard you like raisins. How about a date?
Tend to avoid daytime dating.
It's scary out there sometimes.
You're willing to take a little bit more risks.
It is, absolutely. And
Blockchains.
Bitcoin is a store of value.
Imagine it like a spider's web, just tracing itself.
When you're investing in Bitcoin, you're investing in a technology that is absolutely the most secure online.
how long have you been in Sydney?
Came here in the Olympics, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Ever expanding, and there's always new nodes that are popping up to join and support.
More playful
Ethereum is a little bit different. Ethereum is more of what we call a protocol, right? So it's more based on programming and stuff like that.
And very funny.
I try not to be funny.
I haven't actually got there yet, even though many of my clients are dating, and I do talk about it with them a lot. But I've used a lot of technology and apps in preparation for the very daunting dating scenes.
What did you do when you came to Sydney? Have you had any interests that you pursued?
Sydney, I studied law, I became a lawyer. And then
To a lot of questions and answers, like an interview.
so what were you teaching?
Oh, I taught a great deal in a small town. Singing, dancing, actually the born to read fairy godmother. So
Now, Mark Twain, anyone heard of him? A very wise soul. He had some wisdom to share. He says, never prioritize someone who has you as an option.
and you know, I'd love to share my life with someone.
I guess we'll find out if these daters really have the qualifications or not to date each other soon enough. But hopefully we're going to find out, or Goanna find out. And if you're wondering what's going on there, I'm throwing in some Australian animal references.
Right.
So
What would that entail?
for me it was being involved in community fundraisers, and I have 2 sons, and I actually raised them out there.
An actor.
An actor.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I actually think you've got a lot of talent. Yeah, and then everything I said was real. So I had to be very careful not to mislead them.
That's where we learn from real people. It's not the other actors.
It's stories that show that they relate, stories that can show that you can connect to the other person, also on an emotional level, and they have an understanding.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Absolutely.
So was it not too many rapid fire questions?
and take a bit more risks on the conversations that you have. But also, I think when you go on the first date, knowing what you want and what you're looking for is great. Try and navigate the dates more in like the late afternoon, evening, because that gives it more of an intimate feel where you guys can really get to know each other on a more personal level.
And if I'm out with a woman and she's getting absolutely smashed on the first date, well, that's a deal breaker.
Really care about them, and that I'm still very old-fashioned, so I make that clear up front.
And I personally have never been married. I would definitely like to give it a go.
But often with these sites, the first 2 or 3 questions involves, what are you looking for?
Good question. Because when I was younger, in my sort of early 30s, it was easy. It was easy to meet women, but I'm not out to be a player, and I have been that in the past.
Connected with so many people that were going through incredibly difficult experiences.
A lot of the women don't respond then.
And I connected with people who were quite disturbed, and I had to get away from very quickly.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to. I don't want to do anything wrong. So it does. I guess I feel like I'm definitely more picky now.
Maybe eHarmony is a bit different because you have to communicate more readily and more steadily.
If I find that a woman is sort of emotionally unavailable, that's a bit of a deal breaker.
So, for example, if there was a room for people who want to bonk themselves crazy, you wouldn't have to ask that question.
And that's not a bad thing.
But I never lost faith that one day I might meet someone who actually really liked me.
Is meeting a woman and honestly watering her dreams.
There's a room for people who are into the darker side of loving. You wouldn't have to ask that question.
Well, you've got to play games when you meet a woman. You know, there's all these games that have to be played. Just, cheesy pickup lines and that. And I just don't think it's in me. I want to be vulnerable around a woman. I want to meet a woman and be in a relationship and just be vulnerable.
Was Pat Benatar actually right when she said, love is a battlefield? I, for one, sometimes get are you trans? So online dating can be really harsh, and that's what people are having to face. Heartache to heartache, we stand. You know what? I live by the thumper rule. If you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I'm like, okay, I get it. I like my wigs, I love my makeup. I definitely put on my mental armour because you just don't know what you're going to get when you're out there. I was having to take major chill pills over those people coming out with, oh, are you trans in the first 2 sentences? But you know what? I wouldn't offer them a pill because pills aren't going to fix what's wrong with them. People are complex, relationships are volatile. It's a jungle out there. And I've seen lady boys who are prettier than most girls out there. It's a jungle out there without a doubt. You know, we put on our invisible bulletproof vest. We've got to protect our hearts. I think tactful questioning about my inclinations would reveal whether I'm a trans or not without having to directly just come out with it in the first 2 sentences of ever meeting me as a perfect stranger. Could that go over there? I can never make sense of what he's saying. He's absolutely bonkers. I'm not going anywhere near him. Oh, that one. Laughs like a loony, must have a few screws loose. There's no way I'm talking to them. And that one over there, always sad. I'm just going to let them sulk in the corner. If we were to live like that with plastic wrap around us, we'd never learn anything, because sometimes those experiences where you can help people who are going through difficult times might actually help you as well to develop. But where do you draw the line? That's the question. It's so hard not to judge people on first impressions. How long does it take to work out that the person you're slowly falling in love with is actually a total internet troll, okay? Breaking up and getting back together again, that's something that happens a lot, especially with online dating. You know, you might move on quickly these days, but then you might come back to this other person. How damaging can that be?
If all you want is just a friend, like, you know, yes, we were together, we didn't work out, but you know what? There was something about each other that we really liked. So, you know, if we want to sort of like hang out when there's nobody else to hang out with, you know, be our +1 for each other, fine. But if it's always like coming together and then that whole big turmoil thing happening, nothing's changed, breaking up, coming back together, that turmoil happening again, it's really destructive. And so, and again, if you want to sort of overcome any of that, you really need to actually do the work on yourself. You know, you really need to do some personal development, finding out what those triggers are, finding out how to deal with them, you know, healing the old childhood wounds, which is where a lot of that stuff comes from, you know. Yeah, we're sort of making decisions from our 5-year-old child unconsciously. We're not even aware of this, but we're actually making those decisions from, you know, the inner child, and then, you know, sort of and making those decisions for our adult, and that really shouldn't be happening. It's about, you know, healing yourself, healing whatever it is about yourself in order to go into a relationship as one whole person, another whole person, and as Adam said before, enriching each other's lives, make that you know, that whole synergy of coming together and not sort of like dragging each other down, because that when you've got all this stuff going on and all of you know, your wounds are triggered from your childhood, it's actually going to come out in a relationship, because relationships are the closest thing that you can actually have. You are so vulnerable. You are naked in front of each other. You have sex in front of, you know, with each other. You're living with each other. So that can actually trigger a whole lot of wounds. So in fact, relationships, if you're willing to do the work, are a really great vehicle for doing some healing and to move forward from there. The only thing is, though, that a lot of people don't know about how to do that. They don't even know to do it. And see, it's like being that, you know, you don't know what you don't know. So they blame your partner, or, you know, they repeat the patterns over again. And so, yeah, if it's continually tumultuous, back together, and, you know, back and away, then if you're not going to do anything about it, you're better off apart.
Well, I like what you said about, you know, if you're friends and you're just going to be each other's buddy and +1, that it's okay. But a lot of people keep falling into that makeup sex, you know, that hot makeup sex. You're not even going to think about what the problem was anymore. You're just going to have sex and it feels great and you're back together again. But that's not really healing anything, is it?
No, it isn't. It's having a great time in the moment, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, I'm telling you now. However, you know, if it's just going to be destructive from then on, it's not worth it. It really isn't. It's time to do some work on yourself by seeing a coach or going to a counsellor or doing something, you know, and getting out of your own way so that you can actually improve, mostly with the relationship with yourself. It's about the relationship with yourself, because if you love yourself and you honour yourself, and when you go into a relationship where they are the same, then it can only be enhancing. And it's about taking responsibility for yourself in a relationship as well. And that's the way that my husband and I live every day. I'm not saying it's perfect because we do get triggered, of course. But you know what? We know that they're our triggers. It's not like your fault for this or your fault for that. We don't do that. You know, we've sort of learned so much. We've grown so much. We don't do that. And it's when you're doing that, then you need to actually take a step back and have a look at yourself. And as I always say to my clients, so it's like fall in love with yourself first.
Pathological liars. They live in an alternate universe where they make up these stories and they sound great and you want to believe it, but you have to keep your circle tight because, believe it or not, there's a thing called psychosis by association. You can actually take on people's perceptions and take it into yourself, and then you start believing, which is what we modern people call gaslighting. You start believing, but it's just not true. And how long are you going to play along with their little lies? But this one takes the cake. He played different characters and it was so much fun for a time. He was Old Man Indy, he was Uncle Chop Chop, he was even Giovanni, the European bloke. He was everything. But where does it stop being funny and comedic, and where does it become a personality disorder? I personally have had movie star crushes. I don't know, who would actually own up to that? I'm owning up to it because I am, doing this little social experiment. But I remember a few years ago, I got into Jake Gyllenhaal, okay? So I got into Jake. Funnily enough, in my Facebook DMs, I got a message. You won't believe this, from Jake Gyllenhaal. It wasn't him, don't worry. Could lead to delusions of grandiose, where I was thinking, oh my God, a movie star's got a crush on me. That is a quirk that might lead to various other delusions, which could cause issues in relationships further down the track. What about the change of heart? Oh God, that hurts. For 2 weeks they were into you, they were texting you every day, every hour of the day. And now, all of a sudden, you could hear a pinprick, radio silence, there's nothing there. Where have they gone? Maybe they've caught a ticket to ride on that ghosting train that everyone hears about. Easy come, easy go. Don't forget that. Or the credible liars who tell you what you want to hear. They sound perfect on paper. They sound great. They're telling you everything you want to hear because they know they're intuitive, know what would turn you on, and they want you to like them. But how true is it? Do they really feel that way?
I have a true love for theatre and a passion for theatre.
A lot of changes are happening in midlife for women. There's empty nest syndrome. There's what happened to my waistline syndrome.
I felt the need to go and sing to the ducks in the park.
So lost in other people's goals that I don't even know what my own goals are anymore.
Because the ducks seemed to be quite entertained by me. So in I went, and I ended up with the lead role in Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, there's so much passion in theatre. I mean, we've talked about that already. Theatre is just so amazing, and I love going to the theatre. And it's this ancient, old art.
Your childhood wounds, which I go on about, are now laid bare for healing. So we clean up all the emotional mess.
The energy there, it's not like, watching The Idiot Box.
Exactly.
So much energy there. Yeah. And, you can connect with that.
We can actually set goals to actually, for the next 30, 40, next half of our lives. So, I'm definitely afraid of being able to learn the lines and stuff like that, but, whatever.
I think you'd be fine.
And to reinvent themselves at midlife when everything seems to change.
Yeah.
To be able to light up the world through the energy that comes out of you, and you have that.
I really love helping women. It's my mission to help as many women as possible.
Thank you.
The reason I'm feeling a level of attraction towards you is I sense your energy. It's quite beautiful.
And that's when I first met you too, it was that energy.
You know what, we're only here for a relatively short time, and we want to be here for a good time, and that's really my motto.
So kind, and your heart, you've got a real heart for people and a heart for your family, and that's quite beautiful. I love the conversation we had about kissing, because I actually believe that kissing is really important, and you obviously share that belief.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's again that transference of energy, but it's very sensual. It's very it's beautiful, passionate. But you've got to have the initial attraction first, which I guess we've kind of passed that stage now.
I know, it's very strange and nice. So we're enjoying every second of this.
No, same.
But I just think it's the hardest thing about dating is not walking in and going, oh, I need to go now. this isn't right, and you don't want to hurt anyone.
No, I know, because how many times have we been there? I've been there a few times, I'm sure you have.
I have, since, I started this journey, which is very new to me after years and years of marriage.
Yeah.
And I get so amazed when I can meet someone and feel something. It's so special and so rare.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That wasn't an act, that was real.
That was real.
There's obviously a really big spark there, so I want to find out what happens with you guys in the future.
Hey guys, welcome to Playdate, the final episode 5. I'm so happy to be here at Hijinks Hotel with you. Look, we can see in the background.
I did some acting years ago. It was interesting in acting class. Like there was, some people would come in and they'd be really shy in the beginning, and then you can see them develop as time went on, become much more confident.
Yeah, that's so good because life's a scary thing.
There's a lot going on, and where are our daters? There they are. They are having a bit of a go on this game. So they're going to be playing in the background.
First of all, hello everybody. My name's Adam. Adam Truelove. Whether that's perfectly named or not is debatable. But
being with someone without that value, I think I'd feel really empty.
Specialising in really helping people get over themselves and the humps that hold people back.
But you're probably wondering what I've got here. This is my emotional support water bottle.
You can stop laughing. you could do those games better than me. Have you done this before?
No.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're being honest? Because I was quite entertained.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
And I wouldn't recommend taking your emotional support bottle with you on a first date either. Leave it at home. Leave it at home when you're going to the club, but when you're going to go meet your date's parents, take it along. Might help.
We have two minds. We have a conscious mind, and we have our unconscious mind, and generally anything that's holding us back is happening in our unconscious.
And be real, rather than pretend to be someone you're not.
If you've learned the behaviour, you can relearn something new. So in relationships, specifically what we're talking about here, it's about understanding our own model of the world and how we approach things, and it's about understanding the other person's model of the world. Just to pick up on what she's saying and talk about what's important to you as well, and be the best version of you for the other person.
Yeah, I don't know why people always have to be mean all the time.
Have you seen that in your workplace?
More so online, I've noticed. People just making comments, especially. I think when people go online, they can do it anonymously, so all their meanness comes out.
What I liked about it was just having fun and not having to come up with conversation all the time. And you can dance so well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good fun. It's like being a kid again.
Someone with strong values and someone who actually cares about other people.
Yeah. Things they probably wouldn't do in real life, like face to face with somebody.
Well, I suppose online it's like wearing a social mask.
Yeah.
Hi guys, you can hear me. This is one of the best conversations I've seen on a date for a long time. First of all, you're doing incredibly well in terms of setting out what's important to you, darling, as well. It's it's good to talk about values. You mentioned the word values, and what's important to you about dating.
Well, I am single, of course. So
very good with my hands.
if you're not in the lotto, you can't win. And it's exactly the same here.
11-year-old twins, boy-girl twins, Abigail and Isaiah, and I get on with their mother beautifully.
But definitely would need coaching for the apps, you know, the swipe right and left. I don't know what it is.
I've done a lot of time on the online dating apps and I find it very difficult.
Connect. I don't know whether it's the fear of, you know, not knowing maybe who's behind that screen really, you know.
A lot of the women don't respond then. Hot conversation, but it's just an ongoing conversation for one night and then it just fizzles out to nothing. So
it, you know, having the physical attraction, and most people go for that first. So, you know, that obviously is the first connector.
I know now that I am the best version of myself that I've ever been. So I'm definitely ready.
The universe is shining nicely on you, has a deeper connection. You know what I mean?
This is the producer special, just introducing you to the show and what's going on. It's not all about me. It's the producer special, but it's not all about me. I actually have a little brother. He's a parent, and I just pay rent. Well, we have our similarities. Parent, pay rent. I mean...
You know, I've just said, look, I'm going to be a parent for a 12-year-old girl, but I'll do what I can.
It sounds like I need a bit of dating advice, seriously, doesn't it? Okay, I've got a bit of a problem, obviously.
You know, we've gone through a bit of life, had a bit of trauma. I mean, you know, it's good to deal with.
It's not a big problem. It's easy-weesy little bit of a problem. Alright, I'll share with you.
I have 12-year-old twins.
Yeah.
I have a 25-year-old daughter.
Oh, wow.
And I have 2 grandchildren.
But don't hold this against me.
When I was young, just, you know, one night thing. But anyway, you know, and yeah, it's quite funny. I didn't know she existed. She was 12 years old. Anyway, and
I think that all guys are the same. I think I've met a few of them and I know what's going on. I think they're all the same. I might be wrong, but I hope I can change my perspective on that. And
see her a whole lot, but it's not because I don't want to or choose not to. It's just because she lives over there. I live over here. Life.
There's more.
Just, you know, if I date, I don't sort of talk about kids very much because I had my kids when I was really young, and so they're older, so I'm sort of...
I also think I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm looking for, and that's one of the biggest problems as well.
You have to be a father because they don't have to be. It's more about being the right match for me.
When you feel good within, it's time to start to expand your network, whether it's meeting new people, meeting dates, getting online dating, start heading out to networking events. All of that is practice.
So much to our daters today. This show couldn't have happened without them, Damien and Jackie, and of course Samantha, our special guest. You guys for watching, thank you so much. What about all the mamas out there worried about their daughters making the same mistakes they did, okay? Mamas out there, you do not have to worry, all right? We're the new woke generation.
Emotional connection, heart connection that I sort of look for in a woman.
We watch and learn, and we write letters to our younger selves, do we not? Can I get a hell's yeah?
Surface stuff.
Surface stuff, yeah. I'd always like to go a bit deeper. Let's go through the surface a bit.
That happens out there, so...
Why is it? How long have you been single for?
Oh, quite a while.
Okay.
By choice. I mean, I think...
Alright, so the narcissistic, misogynistic, emotionally unavailable person that I married...
Because narcissism is like a shark, if it's not in good blood, so you need to make sure that you are okay in here before you go out and date. You do not... So cast that wide net, but get really specific.
Will definitely be a millionaire.
Well, it's strategic. We're being specific about what you want, what the end game, where you...
I've needed to or like to have a period of time when I've got to know myself better.
Self-love is where it all starts.
Oh my god, did I just say that? That is completely wrong. That is a dating myth.
Be luxurious within yourself. Treat yourself the way you want someone else to treat you.
Women do not want to marry rich. It's not true. I can't believe I just said that.
Correct. You need to date yourself first. So take yourself out to dinner.
Do not want to marry rich. Women do not want to marry the hottest guy in the room, and not all women want to get married, okay? Well, not all the women that I know. So,
go buy yourself the clothes that you want.